Hey, what up everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you with another WWE Network review. Last night I watched Wrestlemania 3. A whole lot better than my Wrestlemania 1 review. I was really into this show. I thought this was awesome. Before I watched this, I watched the WrestleMania Rewind story of WrestleMania 3, the documentary of Hogan versus Andre. They go into it and they show you a whole lot of the build which came up to it. Everything that involved Vince McMahon going to Andre the Giant and telling him that he needed him to do one more match at WrestleMania 3. Andre didn't want to do it until they told him it was with Hulk Hogan and it was going to build up to one of the biggest WrestleManias and one of the biggest wrestling moments of all time. Of course, Andre stepped up to the plate and delivered. In this story, they told stories from everybody on the card, and they said basically there was only one match that sold this card. Even Ricky Steamboat himself said that basically anybody who went to this show, anybody who ordered it on pay-per-view, went to their local movie theaters to check it out, basically it was just to see Hogan versus Andre. This is one of the biggest spectacles of all time. Basically, they packed 93,000 people into the stadium to watch this in Detroit, Michigan. And, Detroit isn't like Detroit is now. I know that they went back, they did WrestleMania 23 there. I know that the Michigan economy has really dove down, but I mean, this was just blue-collar workers going out there, and you can tell as, Aretha Franklin comes out there and she sings America the Beautiful. They have the normal stock footage thing of the guys working, building the skyscrapers, the guys pushing the cars through the Ford assembly line and everything like that. But this was awesome. You watch it on the crystal clear HD feed on the WrestleMania Network. In the on-demand section. I really wish that I would have watched this on the on the DVD that came out, and this came out, I believe, in 2007. I think that, honestly, it has a pretty basic cover and back, but I'm sure you've seen it. It sells for a couple dollars on Amazon, and it's honestly worth the pickup, even if you have it on the WrestleMania box set that has 1 through 21 on it. I think definitely you go pick this up, you're really going to like it. There's disc 1, which is the normal, stock sort of footage thing, and there's disc 2. If you put that on, it's got little, if you can remember back in the day with VH1, the video pop-ups or whatever it was, the little things, bloop, bloop, and they put little things on the screen. They tell you why these guys are fighting, how long they've been wrestling, what their biggest accomplishments were, if they made the Hall of Fame, this, that, and the other. I think it's very, very cool. Definitely look into picking up this DVD if people are even into buying DVDs anymore. WrestleMania 3 could have been a little bit better if you put the Hogan vs. Andre picture on there, but they just went really basic. Just putting the card on there. You open it up, this one disc is. But basically, I thought this was an awesome, awesome show. And I really think that wrestling is really, bloomed. It definitely is, real pop, it's pop culture these days. Everybody is into it. I mean, everybody has their things where they go to work and they talk to people and people say that, basically, not everybody's a wrestling fan. But back in these days, back in 1988, wrestling was even bigger than it is today, which is hard for me, to believe, when we have WrestleManias that, get 70, 80,000 people into these crowds. I think that WrestleMania last year was over 80. I can't 100% remember. I'm hoping that we pack a ton of people into that Superdome. Sitting up in the 601 up there, the best wrestling fans that there are in the whole world. But basically, there was a rematch after this to build up, of course, to WrestleMania 4, Hogan versus Andre. It was on NBC, of course. This is back in the day when there was only, I think, 5 or 6 channels on most people's TV throughout the United States, because not everybody had switched over to cable yet. 33 million people watched Hogan versus Andre on NBC. That tells you how big wrestling was back in the day. I know that they've tried to put the WrestleMania little documentary on there, and I know they've tried to put Saturday Night's Main Event back on there in the past, but we barely squeaked by with 1 million people, if I remember right. With 33 million people watching one wrestling match. It was Hogan and Andre. Of course, Hogan goes into the match. He's got all the Hulkamaniacs on his side. He throws 3 big punches on Andre, and of course tries to body slam him 30 seconds into the match, but throws his back out, then which turns into Andre just dragging Hogan around the ring, beating the crap out of him for, a good long time. And then, of course, we see the big knee, the leg drop, and, of course, the body slam that ends it all. It's pretty iconic. You can definitely tell that a big moment is going down when you hear 93,000 people pop all at the same time in that building. I mean, like, it's hard to believe what it'd be like to be a fan in there. I mean, like, I have a section, I have seats in, what is it, 142 on the risers or something like that. And then, you know, when I look on that seating chart, 601, way up in the top, looks so far away. And, you know, just to be in that building would be crazy. But, you know, what are those people who sat up there in that upper deck of the dome? I mean, what do they really remember? What do they remember seeing? Like, I remember at, WrestleMania 9, Todd Pettengill goes up to the cheap seats, and they show you what the view looks like from up there. And from up there, you can't see anything. It's just like, I don't even know you're cheering because other people are cheering. And it's just crazy to me how Vince was able to do it. But, you know, a big match with Hogan and Andre, who was able to pull everybody in. These days, you know, that you buy your tickets so far in advance, you don't even know what the WrestleMania main event's going to be. I mean, what would it be if WrestleMania, they came down and they didn't sell tickets the day after the Rumble, and they told us that basically Orton versus Batista was going to be your main event? I don't know how many tickets they would sell, because there's a lot of people who are really pissed off. But then I think a lot of people who say they're pissed off would still buy the tickets and still head out to the show. Peace out. WrestleMania 3, it's awesome. I love the network, baby.